Hi there, folks. This chap on your screen is a guy called Leo Kearse, and he's been on GB News for a while. Now, I didn't realise he's actually a stand-up comic, because he hides it really well, to be fair, so how would I possibly know? I just assumed he was another BS merchant they picked up off the streets, just walked up to him and went, "Hey, you look like you're stupid and ignorant. You fancy a job? Perfect, good." Because I don't know how bad the stand-up comedy circuit has to be for this guy to be sitting alongside Darren Grimes every Saturday night, but there we are. What you're going to learn from this clip is he's rude, he's obnoxious, he's insufferable, he's loud. He's the sort of chap you wouldn't let in your house. Absolutely no doubt about it. In fact, you might not even let him on your porch. This is why I'm grateful I live in a flat sometimes, so you can pick up the intercom. As soon as you hear a chap like this speaking, you just slam it down. You go, no, not today. No, no, no. So for as long as I can remember, old Leo here has been denying the existence of systemic racism in the United Kingdom. Until today. Yes. Has he had an epiphany? Did the Lord Almighty visit him in the night? Well, it turns out, no. Because the only systemic racism Leo here has concluded exists in the United Kingdom is systemic racism towards white people. Yes, indeed. Oh, get your head around this one.
We're told that systemic racism is one of the evils of our time. So I went looking for it, and I found it in not one but two job adverts for government jobs. One was for two teachers in Scotland. The other one was for TfL, Sadiq Khan's TfL. Both of them specified candidates and excluded candidates based on the colour of their skin. The twist, they were excluding white candidates and only selecting candidates that were BAME or BIPOC or whatever the appropriate acronym is this week. Now, this is terrible. We cannot have racist job adverts. We can't have this baked into the functioning of our government and of our corporations. There are many reasons that it's a terrible idea. It reduces the pool of talent that you can choose from. Scotland is 96% white, so you're only selecting from 4% of Scotland's population. It stirs up resentment. Anybody like me who sees that advert is going to feel slighted. I can't apply just because I'm white. That's terrible. That's racist. And for some people, that's going to encourage them to be racist in retaliation. We do not want to encourage this at all. And it also invalidates the achievements of the people who do get those jobs. Everybody's going to look at them and say, well, you just got this job because of the colour of your skin, not because of what you've actually achieved with your life. It's terrible. I don't know. Under the Equality Act, it should be illegal to discriminate based on the colour of someone's skin. But apparently there are carve-outs where, in this case, for the teachers, they said they needed somebody who matched the ethnicity and the cultural background of the pupils that they were teaching. But again, that's racial segregation. That's a very dangerous racist idea to say that white people can't teach black kids, black people can't teach white kids. That's exactly what the Nazis were saying. It's disgusting. Anyway, I have a dream. I have a dream that one day we'll have equality in this country and everybody will be treated equally, no matter what the colour of their skin, and anti-white racism will be a thing of the past.
So, of course, this goes without saying this is completely bloody stupid, but we're going to get into why. I looked for both of those job adverts he put up on screen there and was citing. The one about the Scottish teachers I couldn't find. I went onto the website in question. I searched for the job reference number, couldn't find it. So either it's been filled or it's been taken down. Or I'm just useless and couldn't find it. All three are just as likely as the other, by the way. However, I did find the one from Transport for London. Sadiq Khan's Transport for London, as he calls it. And Leo here, mid-40s or whatever he is clearly furious he cannot apply for this particular job. Well, let's have a look at that job, shall we? So this is the Transport for London website, and I found the job in question, and it happens to be an internship. So, we've already run into an issue due to your lack of research here, Leo. It's called the Stuart Ross Communications Internship, and there are 3 key metrics to be eligible to apply. And, by the way, those metrics are here. And, by the way, I fail on all 3. I'm not BAME, I don't have a degree, nor am I studying for a degree, and I have never worked in any of these listed fields. Oh, woe is me to be discriminated against in so many different ways. I should go onto a live TV show to moan about it, shouldn't I? How about that? But no, seriously now, let's just have a look at what the Stuart Ross Communications internship is and why it exists. But weirdly for that, we have to leave the Transport for London website because it's not actually mentioned on here. So let's go over here to this different site called Bright Network, right? So we scroll down and we've got entry required, but we've got the job overview here, right? The Stuart Ross Communications Internship is a diversity initiative targeted at students of Black, Asian, and minority ethnic background, defined as having some African, Afro-Caribbean, Asian, or other non-white heritage. You must be studying, have recently graduated, or be a non-graduate who has no more than 1 year's paid experience in the communications industry. These groups are underrepresented regionally and nationally in communications, public relations, public affairs and marketing, which is why we created the Stuart Ross scheme. The scheme was set up in 2006 with the creation of internships in our busy press office to help address the lack of diversity in the PR industry. In 2016, the internship was renamed the Stuart Ross Internship after TfL's former director of news, Stuart Ross, who passed away in January 2016 after a battle with cancer. Stuart was a passionate supporter of the scheme from its inception and was a key part of its success. So, let's summarise this. This is an internship that has been around for 16 years, created by TfL at a time when the Mayor of London was white, the Commissioner was white, as indeed were the overwhelming majority of TfL executives, and has been so successful it has now been named after a white guy who understood the importance of diversity within communications, because having a variety of ethnic perspectives within the field of communications is absolutely vital. And BAME people are still underrepresented in communications despite schemes like this. And just let's not forget, just remember, this is being given as an example as to why, in the opinion of Leo Kearse, systemic racism against white people is the only form of systemic racism that exists. This is his evidence. And by the way, he should probably apologise to the family of the now deceased Stuart Ross for dragging the scheme named after him through the mud for basically nothing other than clickbait. And this is what happens when you don't do your research. But of course he won't apologise because he is absolutely dripping with arrogance. With that in mind, let's come back over here and hear him trying to defend his position.
Well, I mean, there we are. Oh, Leo, I mean, that was a very, very interesting monologue that you just gave us there. So your claim is that systemic racism exists against white people, so there's anti-white racism.
Yeah, and I just gave two examples.
And the evidence that you have given are 2 job adverts. Do you have any other evidence to back up your claim?
Do I need any other evidence?
Yes,
would you
do.
say that to somebody? Would you say that to somebody who's just been the victim of racism? Would you say, "Oh, but what other racism?
Yes, I would.
This isn't
actually.
enough racism."
Yes, I would.
You would.
I would ask for some more statistics to back up a claim, like saying that systemic racism exists, but it's anti-white.
All right.
So what other evidence do you have?
Why don't you turn on ITV and wait for an ad break? And then see what the representation is in the adverts. See if it's, Britain is 86% white. See if 86% of the people in those adverts are white.
Is that meant to be?
I think it's 80% now, by the way. Or 81%. I can't quite remember. But he's quoting the 2011 census there. It's no longer at 86%. It's significantly lower. Well, not significantly lower, but around 5% lower.
The evidence.
How much evidence do you need, Albie? I mean, it's
Okay.
supposed to be a 1 minute monologue.
Oh, well, no, that's fine. I'm just asking. We're having a discussion now, and you're not really giving very
Can you
good
just
evidence.
check your black privilege, please?
No, I won't actually, because I'm wearing my black privilege on my sleeve here. I'm even wearing a black shirt to just prove it even more. Look, there are systemic injustices in society, and there are some people who argue that there is systemic racism against people of colour. Some people who argue that there's systemic racism against white people. I have to say, you're the first person I've heard make that argument seriously.
Because everyone's too scared
But
to.
when people talk about systemic racism towards black people or Asian people, they use proper statistics from the Office of National Statistics, such as the statistics about healthcare outcomes. If we look, for example, about women giving birth, we know that black and Asian women are 3 or 4 times more likely to die in childbirth than white women.
And that's because of racism. Are you saying birth canals are racist
people-
against people?
Oh my god. Where did they find this guy? I can't possibly think why he's not made it in comedy. I'm really struggling. Because it's just hilarious, this. That's just hysterical. I think he thought that was well, I think he thought that was a joke, right? Or was he serious? Oh god, it's worrying. Oh, what an absolute mess this guy is. He's like that one relative everybody has that you just... when you hear he's coming round with the family, you're like, oh my god, no. God, I'm going to have to... Right, we'll put him... Where can we put him at the table? I mean, we can't put him in the middle. If we put him right down the end, then he can do the least amount of damage. So we'll put him right at the end. Yeah, right there. Yeah. Right as far away as possible. And we'll put Grandma down there as well. Because she might be able to absorb some of the impact. Good grief. Oh, anyway, I think we've heard quite enough from him. He blabbers on for a little while longer, making himself look even dimmer along the way. But look, even by the standards of GB News, Leo is an extraordinary bigot, because he really does spend a lot of time waffling about how institutional racism against non-white people doesn't exist. Genuinely, I've heard it. Despite the overwhelming evidence it does, but then manages to produce the counter-argument that institutional racism does exist against white people, and his evidence? 2 job adverts, one of which is a 16-year-old internship. The level of stupidity here is absolutely breathtaking. Cheers for watching this complete mess. All the best.